Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm trying to get Paul on. I made a mistake on something. I sent him the wrong person.
Hey everybody, what's going
Oh,
on?
is that me? Is that you? Okay.
Hold on.
What's going on? Hey, it's starting. Here comes you. So let me get this going out to Mr. Paul. Here he is, 908. There he is, finally. I was at a different computer. Paul will be coming on right now.
Cool.
So that's what I was waiting on. We were talking backstage in the green room about Well, you notice we're not in the kitchen right now. This is Golden Guys on site or on discussion about Baltimore Comic Con. I'm going to talk to the chat while I wait for everybody. Wait for what's his name? Paul. Old man Paul. So Jason Smith first. Congratulations, Ricky. Second, good to have you here. Comic Man Andy was the lucky turd. I love that. Good seeing you. Alex, the Comic Core Golden Guys. Let's do this. We are ready to go. Fired up. We're ready to go. Chris Barrett, good man right there. By the way, we got, who else we got? Alex Cameron. All these people look good. Here comes devices not connected. We're waiting on Paul. He is ready to go. And let us add Paul. There you are, Paul. How are you? He can't hear me yet.
What's up, Paul?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, you hear me now. Okay. Sorry, Paul. I actually sent it to the email address that you gave me, and I kind of threw up it out there. It just didn't work because it was coming from Comic Core, and I pretty much copy and pasted over your own name twice. We'll talk about Baltimore Comic Mania. That's right. Mr. Garrell, how are you? Marvel Hunter, hello, comic people. Very good to see you guys. I'll be bringing up sometimes. I'll be a lot more. I'll be doing some of this stuff because I hear a lot of people are, they like that stuff. Here's Longbox Diving. Nice. Longbox Diving. Good evening, all. We're going to have a good fun. We're going to talk. We're going to start off talk about conning and hunting and cons and everything fun and exciting with all that. First and foremost, we have two different kinds of con hunters here. We have me, who is the digger, the Indiana Jones, the archaeologist, the guy willing to do this. And the other one in the back is you have the Thomas Crown affair. Is you have the guy who looks at the Louvre painting and turns around and says, "I'll take the Mona Lisa over there," or "I'm looking to dig something up." Somebody has already dug it up for him. But somebody has already presented it in a nice frame, and it is debuting at a museum known as the back wall of the con. So those are my two analogies right now. You've got the Indiana Jones, and you've got the guy, the art buyer right there. You've got the big one. Paul, I have dived with you in some bins for a little bit. We enjoy it. Are you more of a, what attracts you more? The bigger, is the size matters for you? Is the big back wall that you want, or is it the big long box you want? What do you love?
I like flipping
in a good.
I like flipping through boxes.
Yep, like flipping through.
And I would like to point out for anybody at Baltimore, if you are going to go diving with JD, do a couple lines of blow ahead of time because he is like the Energizer Bunny, and he flits around and so he's like, "We got to go here. We got to go here. Oh, I got to talk to him. Oh,
but I find
check this out."
Yeah, I'm nuts. All right. So we established the fact that I'm a complete nut at the con. I'm a diver for sure. But I do look at the back wall. And just when I'm looking at the back wall, I also look when somebody is diving next to you. I know always, as much as DS Comics is an art purveyor and looking at the fine art on the wall, and he's debating on that or wants to see that, his eyes look down at people digging because he always wants to know what people are looking at too. So as I like to look at people buying the big boy books on the back wall, there. So let's talk about the pros and cons of each, or whatever you want to talk about. What do you guys in the crowd? What do you guys think about going through boxes first? Because that's something that I know you detest. I actually think it's disgusting, and I usually wear gloves. Do I not? I bring gloves and antibacterial because it's disgusting what some people have in these boxes. Well, yeah, go to a good dealer. Go to a good dealer because at least they don't have cat piss on theirs.
When I was at Heroes Con on Sunday, I had pretty much seen everything that was there on the walls and whatnot. I had spent all my money and done all my deals, and I was pretty much done. But, I still want to hang out in the comic fantasy land paradise. So I was still there on Sunday. And out of lack of anything really better to do, I dug through a few boxes. And after about 10 minutes, I remembered why I don't like doing it. So
there you go. They've been picked through and gone through 100,000 times. And when DS buys books that are very popular, or should I say, are top of mind books, that not just the common folk that would be the hobbyist into the golden age would recognize, but also he collects some of the rarities that the seasoned vets know that are the key ones, the hard ones, the true grails of the golden age that may or may not be as popular. So those are usually on back walls too, unless you are lucky enough to find one in a bin, which is few and far between, especially on Sunday.
I mean, I flip a lot of books, but I feel like for golden age stuff or superhero stuff, you're not going to find big books in the boxes. I mean, you can find some keys and stuff, but for golden age, the stuff in the boxes is not going to be huge. It's not going to be top condition, and you got to spend for me, I have to spend a lot of time digging through boxes to find something that's worthwhile for my purposes. Not that it's not worthwhile. Every single book is awesome, but to find something for my purposes that's worthwhile, it's not a good use of my time to dig through boxes, because I'd be looking for specific superhero keys to flip. They're not going to really be in those boxes. And I'm looking for golden age of a specific character and condition. And it's time consuming, and it's not for me. I mean, I walk around, I look at the wall books, and pretty much anything I'm looking for is going to be on the wall pretty much anyway. So that's pretty much why I don't dig.
Yeah, I mean, there kind of is that level of it. Depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for keys, you're not going to find them digging.
Right.
And that's what Mike. I don't know if you watched the first Nights of Where. Welcome. He's late, but we were talking about the two different approaches to going to a dealer at a con. Are you the back wall art purveyor, or are you the Dr. Jones, like I would call myself, the Raiders of the Lost Ark or the Indiana Jones, going in and digging through old boxes of people's dust and dirt and disgusting slimy hair and everything that's in these books, just to find that one with an elephant cover that's somewhat presentable?
I do that last. After I spend most of my money, or I realize there's nothing at the con. Look at all those little stuff.
So you're more of the art purveyor, like this guy.
Yeah, I was just saying before he got on here, Nights, that I'm at Heroes Con on Sunday. I dug through because I had nothing else really left to do, and so I dug through some boxes. But yeah, I think he does the same thing as me. But my PC is under 100 books, and if I'm buying books to flip, I want to buy books that are keys. I pretty much only flip keys because it's a good profit margin. It's liquid. It moves. It's not nickel and diming. Like, I hate packing stuff up to ship. I hate taking photos and listing stuff. That's stuff that I don't like doing that. So if I just flip keys, I don't have to buy 200 books that are 10 or 20 bucks each and do all that shipping and packing and photoing. I just try to stick to keys. The stuff I'm looking for my purposes is not going to be in the bins.
Right. So, it's going to be a negotiation on the back wall.
I try to keep it to stuff that I can only get at the con. Like maybe I'll go to Artist's Alley or whatever, or
yeah, I was going to get into that.
Thousands of dollars, then I'll be like, I should probably get in something for my family.
Yeah. This week's Inktober is brought to you by covers, sketch covers by different artists, including Walt Simon here.
Ooh, nice.
Jim Starlin, George Perez, Ron Lim, Marco Jerkovich, Karen Nord, the ones who didn't quite fit the bill, and I'm not going to name names because that'll be embarrassing for them if they watch, because they're still alive.
That Simonson one.
Yeah, but you want to see Simonson? Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's Simonson.
Yes.
Well,
That's slick.
I will be seeing him again at Baltimore. I'm going to try to sit down with him and discuss. I'll talk on another show, but just to give you an idea, I'm going to be thinking about him with the colors. Trying to think about him with. I'd love to get him and Howard Chaykin together because they worked on Sword of Sorcery together, and they've worked on a bunch of things together. And they used to work with Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson together. Apparently, they all lived in an apartment in 1973 together, and that's when all this crazy shit happened. So I want to know what drugs they were on, and if they can have anything left over, because we're.
I think
that was a conversation. So
I think Plug and Barry Windsor Smith were in there for part of that time too.
yeah. Those guys. I mean, that's what I call the Bronze Age Goldies right there. I mean, I always throw Kaluta in there as well as my other one.
Yeah, he rolled through there too.
Doesn't really count. Buscema doesn't count because he was always Big John. He was always the big boy anyway. You know, he was the beer drinking.
Starlin too. Someone's roboing.
It's JD.
Yeah.
Talking about drugs.
Sometimes I
do drugs. Look what happens.
Yeah.
Too much.
I dig in boxes for Golden Age. I did that at Heroes Con. I mean, I don't, but I did at Heroes Con. And what I've noticed is there's no real good Golden Age stuff. And I have a pretty good eye for it, so I'm trying to see if I can find something that's been overlooked, like something that's got a really cool LB Cole spread in the middle that people don't know about, a 4 favorites or something, or a Target Comics or a real Blue Bolt or something. And I didn't come across any of that. And even the stuff I found is like the condition wise. I feel like the dealers who have Golden Age, if it's, a 4.0 or better, it's going to be on the wall almost no matter what it is as a Golden Age book. And a lot of the Golden Age stuff in the boxes are like tore up 1.0, 1.5s.
Oh yeah, you're not getting.
It's affordable stuff, and it's all good. But like pre-code hard, some of them have boxes that says pre-code hard. I go through there and it's lower tier, middle tier rag copies of pre-code horror. It's not what I'm looking for. But if you're looking for run fillers, superhero run fillers, if you're looking for pre-code horror that's affordable, where you're just getting into pre-code horror or Golden Age and you want some affordable stuff, you don't want to spend $1,000 a book, there's stuff in there for you. But I try to I'll spend the same amount as somebody else, and I'll buy 2 books and they'll buy 50 books. And we spend the same amount of money. I just rather buy fewer books for more money than more books for fewer money. So, but I looked through every dealer's Golden Age stuff on Sunday at Heroes Con, and I didn't come up with anything that I was interested in buying.
Nice. So Alex, the comic order, is one of my another guy who just watch his channel, subscribe to him. You better be. You have to be. At cons, I prioritize the big wall books first. I start working on those deals. Then downtime, I look at it exactly. I will be honest with you. I have to always use the back wall as a way to get into the dealer to see if I don't know him before. If I don't know him, if I do know him, that's different. But if I don't know him, I want to know him. I want to get to be on his good side. I comment on a different book on the back wall that I might know about, but somebody else might not know. Or it's not a very popular book, or it's a hidden book, then I know right off the bat what it is. I do that sometimes, and that's one of the fun things I enjoy doing.
Alex even has me check wall books for him. It shows he's not at.
Yeah, I've had people comment to see if they could find those.
Here's my usual question: are those the only timelies you have? And
yeah, that's there. My usual question is, do you have any fiction house? And I'm not necessarily into Matt Baker covers, because honestly, I don't know. I don't think there are that many. The more and more I've been seeing this Baker craze go crazy, I'm like, I don't think he did that many books and would have had time to jump that many places in that much time,
Well, when I was looking for, there was a couple timelies that Knights was looking for when I was at Heroes Con. I went to dealers looking for a couple specific timelies that he wanted. And I would ask them, and I kind of got this look like, hey, you could see it in their face. Any other timelies I have would obviously be on the wall. What's wrong with it? I was like, I see you've got these. Do you have any other timelies anywhere? Do you have this? And they look at me like, come on, seriously, if I had timelies, it'd be up there. What do you want from me? Or I'm asking for a book that they're like, come on, seriously, you think I have think I have that? If I didn't have that, it wouldn't be on the wall. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's one of the things. When I asked about your horrific one, I was like, do you see it back there? One guy was like that, but he's like that with everybody. But one of the things about, let's say you go to a Golden Age dealer, and we've all been to cons, and we're looking at that back wall book. Let's say we let's just call it a horrific one that we take down, we want to look at, and we're, looking at the symphony and the colors and everything. And he says, that's a good book. I'm looking for other books like this. What do you have in this range? And if he can point out to that what it is, that's good. If he just points to a box and says, here's my Golden Age pre-code horror, you weren't necessarily interested in that, but you just, feel out, find out what your dealer is, make friends with the dealer. And that's when sometimes I get stuff that he buys at the con. I have one guy I know who buys stuff at a con. If he knows I'm going to be there, if he knows he can flip it to me pretty quickly. And if he can't, he'll ask me if I can help him find somebody who's interested in it.
Yeah,
Usually,
I check back a lot. I check back. Well, not like there's anything else to do, but I do see new books. Especially if I'm going more than one day, you'll see some.
And I think that's more in the Golden Age and in the early Silver than any other. Unless it's like a modern variant that the artist is there, whatever, that's signing book. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the turnover that you see at some of these places. I've been to a con in Minneapolis one time when I watched a guy bring in a collection. They had, We Buy Comics, you've seen him all over the place. And this guy brings in a hand truck with five long boxes on it. Goes in and walks over to him. And he goes like this, and he starts pulling them out. And he tried not to be excited. When a dealer pulls out like the third bucket, he goes, wait a second. And he starts looking at this, starts smelling it. He goes, is this it? He goes, this is all from here to here. It was an entire run of Atlas. From the beginning all the way through there, and it's the Minnesota collection. You've seen it. But at the con, which is where, it's the Minnesota collection that was recently been sold a lot of all over the place. What they did is they made a deal there that was so ridiculous that they went off to a side room, and all I did was hear from the guy I know who works there. He said they didn't know what to do. He said he didn't take all the boxes. He said he bought one long box for that price, and that guy is going to every con asking for that price for each box as he goes. He's upping it 10,000. He's upping it by a certain amount each con, and each box. He said, I have 5 of them. I bring all 5 if they make the offer for all of it that I want. If not, I'll let you have 1 for divided what I want total by 1. And that's what he does. He's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that'll definitely work. Pre-code horror is obviously very popular if you have like a whole run of Atlas stuff or something, but
ridiculous.
That kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying about like digging in boxes. Even like some of the lower tier Atlas in like 3.0 type range raws, that stuff's on the walls these days. I mean, those dealers who have Golden Age have that stuff up on the walls.
Oh, fiction houses all over the place again.
Yeah, so I mean, I just cons are stress free for me to an extent because I don't wait in lines for signatures. I usually don't even go to the artist alley area. I just stay where the comic books are. I walk around. I talk to the dealers. I talk to people I know from Instagram or YouTube. I'll try to sell some books or trade some books, make some deals to buy some books, usually off the wall. And I'm basically just walking around, hanging out, talking to dealers, going from one to the other, talking with people. I'll take a break and go outside or I get something to eat. But it's like stress-free. I got my backpack on, I've got cash, I've got books. I'm not waiting in lines. It's usually never even seems like it's that busy to me. I mean, there's more people on a Saturday, obviously, but I don't dig in boxes. I don't have to get in that crowd and dig around. I just, walk around, look at the big books, talk to dealers and other people. And it's, it's a very, the way I do it, it's a very laid back, stress-free, easy style of doing a con. And I just buy a couple books that are big that I like. And, that's a good time for me.
Let's go, Old Town, Polka Joe. What's going on, Baltimore boy? We're talking Baltimore Comic Con, and we're talking about going to the con, digging in the books for some Rangers books by Fishing House. Do you go for only what's on the back wall of Polka and Joe? Do you go on the back and look for Ranger comics only on the back wall, or do you dig through the bins? Because not every Ranger book is going to be on the back wall. You'll have a few, obviously, the key ones. What are considered keys. Again, like I say, Golden Age, every book is a key in the Golden Age to someone. Silver Age is a little different. So, nights when as though the only Marvel time that you have, I could see that because again, we're some of us have some specific, but if you're you know, like me, I have a long list of books and stuff like that that I'm interested in, but there's also books I'm also interested in discovering, I should say, which is one of the things I've found that looking for others and, oh my God, you have me looking at this, like mummy books or something for Paul, or I always look out for robot covers now for DS. I always send him, do you have this one? Do you have this one? This is a cool one, you know? I get to like some of those Wally-Wood stuff. But, you know, what do you think about going to, when you go to these cons and you go to a dealer, you go to the back wall, you bring down your books. Let's talk trade. We discussed it a little bit last time. We all bring books to trade. I think that's our kind of, sometimes we do. I may bring books to trade this time. I don't know. I have sold
You
some.
never know what you'll see, so you might as well bring something.
Yeah, I might bring some bait out there, what I like to call bait. See what I can get. You
don't want to be regretting that you didn't bring it.
Right.
That always sucks.
So, what kind of books do you like? But we should give people some advice here. I think we discussed it briefly last week, but let me just reiterate this. If you're bringing books to a con, bring the rarer ones. Like, don't bring this. Nobody's going to want this. No offense. At a con.
Because there's going to be 832 of them.
Yeah, but some dealers
dealer would want one.
Pay you for that because they know they could flip it right away.
Right. The guy could flip it. He might say, "I'll give you $40 for it." You know, because it takes.
I tried to trade a Hulk 181, 8.5 white pages to a dealer, and he was like, "No, what do I want that book for?" So I mean, it's sort of an option. And you probably know what dealer I'm talking about. He's like, "What do I want? I got 5 of those. I can't move them. What do I want to do with that? You know, I don't want that. Go sell it somewhere and come back with the cash." And that's what I did. But it's, you know,
that's exactly what a lot of these dealers want. But if you present them with a Suspense 8,
yeah,
they will stop the presses. And then let me, if we all have that one Golden Age book that other people want. You know, we have like a few of them. I'm sure that we bring to a con, and that's what the dealers want. The gold, it's almost like an even swap. You're gonna trade a Golden Age for a Golden Age or something along the line. You don't bring your Silver Age minor keys or keys that are more modern. I'm saying your early Silver Age stuff. I'll tell you what, people may be interested in an FF1, an AF15, a Journey 83, Showcase 4 for sure.
Yeah, but they like anything that's hot right now, all this spec stuff. I mean, a lot of them will.
If the dealers will be selling that spec stuff,
not the GA one, not the Golden Age dealers, perhaps, right, but all the other ones will give you, because they're like DS.
Yeah,
they calculate it, and then they're like, here you go.
Stuff to trade or sell is, I only bring stuff to trade or sell if it and it's by dealer. Some dealers are smaller dealers. They have their sharing booths. They're just getting started. They're early in their dealing career. Some are major experienced dealers like New Force, Dale Roberts, stuff like that, guys like that. But I basically, if I'm at a booth, I will give them books to sell or trade if I think it will end up on their wall. Any book that will go up on their wall is good trade bait or selling to that particular deal. And it changes depending on the dealer. I could take a 181 in like a 3.5 to a major dealer. It's not going to end up on their wall. It might be low on the bottom or something. But if you take that to a same book to a dealer who's just getting started, or they're sharing a booth, or they're major, that's a big book for them. That will end up on their wall. So if it's something that I think will end up on the wall of that dealer, it's good trade or sale bait. That's my rule. I don't know if that's.
See what some of these guys right here are going on. Good girl covers. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Good girl art. We're saying, rocket ships. Yeah, stiff rocket ships. Okay.
Yeah, Evan had a good question here. I would like to hear what you guys think of it. He said, at what price point of a book would you need to attain in order to compensate for all the expenses of going to a con?
Oh, well, I have two ways of doing this. One thing is, my second favorite thing outside of buying comics or dealing comics, whatever you want to call it. I don't deal, but upgrading my collection or having fun with my comic books. is getting original art. So I kind of put that to the cost of going to cons, because I'm not going to probably get a chance to sit down next to Howard Chaykin and ask him to draw for me better Darth Vader than you drew in the Star Wars. If you want, I have to be nice to these guys. And Walt Simonson, I'd love to hear stories. I really want to get to know these guys, not get to know them in any other way than I want, like those kind of things. So I do like, as far as going to cons, do I put those price point? I go, when I buy a book at a con, it's usually because, and I mean a big book or a book that I really was excited to get. Because sometimes I don't spend that much. I spent $40 on a book I went to a con to get, bringing $500, and I got one for $40. Maybe not the best condition, but it was still $40. It's Voodoo 11. I buy the harder to find books at the con. So my price point isn't really a price point as much as it is, if it's worth $500, I'll pay it.
Yeah, con expenses for me, it's just look, I bought a VIP ticket package for Baltimore just to get in a little earlier. I mean, it's still going to be a big line, but that line will get through sooner than the general admission line, and $175 for 3 days. If there's hotel and travel and all that stuff, I just consider that as sort of vacation expenses, and I don't work the con to try to cover those expenses. I'm not a dealer. I'm a collector, and I'm just a dude who likes to go to a con, and it's a fun experience. It's like a vacation. So whatever that costs, I just consider that money spent on a fun time. And I don't even consider it at all when I'm buying or selling or dealing books or whatever I'm doing at a con. So if I can find a book for $200 that I can flip for $250, which I probably would pass on, but if I can make a $50 profit on a book, and that's the only thing I got, I would say the con was successful. I made $50.
Yep.
Now, in reality, I spent $600 on everything else expenses, but I don't count that. That's like the cost of going on a vacation to an event. So I don't count that in. So I'm not working from a deficit when I get there. So I see freedom.
I had two budgets. I have a art signature budget, 3 budgets, a CGC budget if CGC is at the con, and a book budget. And the only one that gets a little bit more bigger is the book budget by trading. That's exactly how I do it. And what I'm bringing, if I choose what to bring, might be, I prefer bringing raw, actually, because a lot of dealers are getting, I've noticed this more and more, you're not going to get slab price at a con. Your better profit maybe in a raw, which is usually the opposite of everything else. But when you're talking middle of the road graded golden ages, you're better off maybe with the graded ones. You may not get the money that you think you're getting for them. Would you agree with that, DS?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, golden age and superhero stuff is totally different type of price points going on at cons. And I don't go to buy golden age to flip at cons. I just buy golden age for myself, and I know it's going to cost whatever it costs. But superhero stuff, if you're diligent and put in the work, you can find stuff to flip. You can find deals. The price points are different depending on what the dealer has or whatever. But golden age stuff, the golden age stuff I buy there, I buy a lot of golden age stuff to flip, and none of it's at cons. When I go to a con, the golden age stuff I buy is for myself, because some of these dealers don't list stuff online, and they have stuff they only bring to cons, and sometimes that's the only place to find it is to get it at the con.
Mm-hmm. One of the nights, you're a huge Marvel Timely guy, and that's probably the safest place to buy that outside of Heritage or one of the big 3 auctions would be live, one of the reputable dealers that we all know and cherish their discount sales they give us.
But I have to say, sometimes it does seem the more key the book, the more likely it's going to be they're going to even put it themselves on those auction sites.
Mm-hmm.
Except some of the real high-end dealers like Gator,
Gator fan,
or whatever, they like to have it there. But like some of the other guys like Terry or Graham Cracker, they'll consign the real big stuff because they know they'll get more.
One of my favorite things is the consign stuff that Terry has done, or Rich from Bedrock City has done for other people. Rich, by the way, just sold us some pulps at a con, he just got his hand on some pulps, and we were looking at them, and some painted covers from books, from some weird tales, some good stuff there he found. So I was just sharing that that was his experience, Bedrock City. And this guy Tom, a local guy here, well, kind of local. He lives in Oklahoma. He comes up here to the local cons. He picked up a bunch of stuff at a con. So Evan put in there, do you find more profitable to trade at cons over selling on auction sites? And that's one of the things we talked about. Trading at cons, it's subjective because I'm a good I like to trade.
Depends, yeah.
I like to trade, probably my favorite, but I am a hard negotiator when it comes down to trade. I'll rather give them the cash than keep the book if it's not going to be beneficial to me. Usually I bring the books that they really know they can flip, that they are interested in moving themselves, or at least somebody there might see the book from me and be interested in it. But
depends on the book. Like if I have something that I bought and it's now worth 5 times that amount,
right,
then yeah, I don't mind letting it go. I'm already getting like triple what I paid, minus the pain of doing it on eBay or whatever myself. So, and then it looks like a super good deal for the dealer, but I feel like those days are harder to come by now that comics have gotten more and more expensive in the past like 5 years. But
yeah.
Well, if you're into a book for $500 and the value has gone up to $1,500, and you bring that to a con and you trade it to a dealer for a $1,200 book,
yeah,
they're getting a good deal. You get the deal done quick. You don't have to deal with any selling, packing, shipping, photos, eBays, any crap, and you're taking a loss on it from the value. But you paid you got $500 in it, and you're getting $1,200 out of it into a new book you want. That's a win, man. I mean, like I tell people all the time, GPA is for buyers, not for sellers. For sellers, you should be looking at profit, and that's what I do. Like if I'm $500 in a book, if I can trade it for a $1,000 book, I made doubled my money on that book. Now the book they're trading me might be, they're not going to give me full value for my book because they're in the business to make money, but I can make a profit on my end. I'm not worried. I don't care what other people do if they make money. I'm concerned with myself. If I got a $500 book that I can turn into $1,000, what do I care? You know what I mean? I'm not going to give stuff away, but if I can double my money on a book and it's close, yeah, well, so what? They can make money. They're in the business to make money, but you can trade books that have gone up in value for other stuff. I think that's a good idea.
And I like to use trade to make my cash go further. Like say I have $1,000, and then I have $1,000 worth of trade. If I'm just gonna trade him and there's no cash involved, you might not get that $1,000 trade from him. But if you're gonna give him those plus $1,000, you probably will get $2,000 worth of whatever back. It seems, I don't know, some weird thing in my head, but it seems to. Also, a tip I've learned, unfortunately, a few times is if you get offered a cash price, don't think that you can walk away and come back and it'll still be there, because they love to not. When they see you coming back, suddenly that price can.
That's a great point there.
Don't make that mistake.
You want them chasing you down. You don't want to be chasing them down. One of my things I like to do at cons, especially smaller ones, is bring 4 or 5 big boy books and keep them with me.
Yeah.
To get their attention, even though I have no interest in trading. But if I'm not flying there, if it's local or if it's something I'm driving to, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pack it up with some big boy books to get their attention, to know I'm interested in that other big boy book. I'll be honest with you, it's you're trying to create an image, and comic dealers, especially Golden Age, and some of these guys are like the comic book guy from the fucking Simpsons, and they're assholes. If you know these guys, they are. I mean, some of these guys are great. I get along with them. They're fun and everything else. But there are some con dealers there that you are pissing them off by talking to them, is how they react. And if they did not have the wall of freaking greatest things you would ever have, you wouldn't talk to them. But there are some guys who are sitting there eating their sandwich in their little jacket, and he's sitting there drinking his coffee. He's looking up, and he's like, yeah, it's over there. Tell Spence 39 right there. This guy does it every con. He sits there and does like there. But the second you pull out the big boy book, he's going to come over to you and start with his hands and say, I got something for you down here. If you're interested in this, maybe you might be interested in this. And next thing you know,
sometimes their buddy, like, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to sell it or not, but I got these.
Yeah.
And then, but sometimes they know someone who's looking for that book, or their buddies wants it or whatever. So, and they can be the middleman and make, 100, $200 or whatever. Like, there's all kinds of reasons that can work out for you.
Yeah, there's some dealers, and I don't go to a lot of cons, but there's some dealers, if they're sitting down drinking coffee, eating their sandwich, and I don't even mess with them unless it's a book I just can't live without or something. I don't mess with dealers like that.
But
or
they do exist. They do exist.
You or seem like they're annoyed when you're asking questions. And there's a guy I'm talking about, always asks. He's got this rude persona a lot of times. He's very short with you all the time. You guys know what I'm talking about probably. I don't mess with those guys. I just walk right past their booth. I don't even, they don't have anything so great.
With like an AF-15, if you catfish him and tell him you're interested in something else by showing him a big boy book, he may come over to you. And
I don't need. Look, I'm still a customer, and these are the guys that are making money. I don't need to prove to him that I'm worthy of his time.
Right.
I'm a potential customer. I like dealers that treat all their customers the right way, whether it's a dude who has $50 or a dude who has $5,000. And some of them look at me and they think I have $50, and they don't want to give me the time of day. That's fine. I'll take my $5,000 over to Gator, and he will talk to whoever, and he's cool. And you don't know who's going to buy what. And some of these dealers, they don't want to give you the time of day sometimes, or they're a little short with you if they don't know you or know that you have a lot of money. And I just skip them.
Yeah.
You can find any book you want anywhere, pretty much. There's nothing so rare and special I need to deal with those guys. That's all.
Yeah. There are a lot of them that I don't like, and I don't even talk to.
I've annoyed them. I think it can work both ways sometimes.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. People get annoyed with me all the time.
I have this bad habit of, I don't know, liking stuff like good taste. So often the books I ask for, they don't have, and sometimes that gets them kind of annoyed. And it's like, well, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this. There are times that I'm at. One thing is that I always look for like 3 or 4 books. Some of them are big boy. And I'm saying I have a fun just for this book, and they'll sit around there like, if I had that, I wouldn't even sell it. Well, I didn't ask you.
Yeah,
I didn't ask you that. I get that all the time. Well, how do you think I'm going to find an Adventure 34, man? It's before Superman. I'm like, all right, don't make a big deal about it.
Some of the smaller dealers are the most fun, and I'll go back to their booth over and over and over on the weekend.
I will go to Gator at least.
Nothing I'm interested in buying, but they're so cool. I'll take their business card. I'll refer people over there, and they're just really cool dudes to talk to, and they have smaller
Red Rock City. Yeah, I mean, I'm
trying to have fun. I'm not just trying to have hardball negotiations with guys with attitudes. I'm there to have fun too. It's fun to hang out with small booths with cool dudes and talk comics.
And a lot of times I'm going to end the talk about the cons and being friends with everybody at the cons, with the dealers, or how do you approach the dealers, or if you're a backball or a diver, communicate with them the whole time. If he's free and if he's available, don't interrupt him. But if he's free and he's available and he's just sitting there and he's maybe reorganizing something and he goes, you got a minute? I'm interested in this kind of stuff. What do you got? What are your thoughts on this? Become friends with the guys eventually. I bring a book that I'm interested in at the con. I may ask him, hey, if you get a minute, swing by over to, I'm at Rich's, swing by over to Terry's booth. He's got this Suspense 8 there that I'm interested in. He wants $1,500 for it. It looks like the cover's ripped off. Let me know what you think about that. And he'll come back. He'll say, well, but these dealers do talk, but they also respect the customer, that they know who you are. So it's not like I'm a random person going over to this guy saying, go over to this book and tell me what you think. This is a guy who he knows that I'm interested in it, or that if he had it, I would have it. But again, these guys all like to cut each other too, and they like to have friends with guys like DS and Knights, and they want to gain your friendship and everything, and Paul, and gain your friendship and your Paul, and Paul, you would know this because of when you found with me. I got them to ask flat out. I was like, what do you think about this? What do you think of that price he's offering for this? He goes, too high. Or that's a good deal. I mean, for you. A lot of them will help me with that if it's a big book. If it's under a cup, if it's not worth their time, I'm not going to do it. But that's one of the good things is they become your advice guy too. When you're like, hey, I'm looking for this kind of book. Which dealer would have this? You think,
Also,
if he doesn't have.
I made friends with a dealer, one of his relatives, and they did tell me in confidence, they're like, they felt bad saying it, but they're like, don't ever think that they're your friend, because
Oh yeah,
they
that's exactly right.
the business, and unfortunately.
But at the same point in time, they want to keep you as their top of mind play.
But also, I did find sometimes if you do flash the big books or buy the big books, sometimes that can be bad too, because then they will just be firm on a price because they think that you're Moneybags McGee or whatever, And
so, one of the guys that deals with dealers that deals in big web books, brings them to Briefcase and everything else, actually has a preferred 5 dealers he deals with at cons, and that he brought it up saying a similar thing, saying they're not really my friends, but at this point in time, I'm his best friend, and he's mine, and we're gonna get through this together, And it was, he brought in some books that somebody was very interested in flipping that ended up on Metropolis buying it and then putting it on Comic Connect or whatever.
They're not your friend.
I mean, it was an FF1. It was a 7.5. It was what it was. I mean, it's a huge book at the time that was just graded that day at C2E2, and he walked it over to Metropolis. So,
and
they won't be your friend, but a good dealer will try to create a long-term beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
Always offer 15% under eBay price.
Yeah, and maybe I'm a little different than some people, but some dealers have specific Golden Age books that I'm looking for. They're rare. They fit into that category of what I like. I know generally what stuff goes for, and I will see a book that a dealer has. And some of the stuff's tough to price, man, no matter how big of a dealer you are, how experienced you are. The stuff is legitimately hard to price, some of the stuff that I go after. And, if I see a book that's priced way far from where I think it's worth, it's just mostly a matter of opinion, sort of. And I'll ask them, like, do you have any room on that? Because I'm not really close to that. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, not really, maybe a little bit. That's, I usually won't go there. But if the book is close, I'll try to get off a little bit on it. But, I'll try to work a deal on a book that I think is a good deal for that book. But I'm not trying to, spend all my time negotiating down to get an extra dollar off of a $2,000 book. You know what I mean? I know what the stuff goes for. I'm happy to pay what the book is worth. It's a rare book. It's a good copy. I can see it in hand. But, some of these dealers have books that are way high, and I'll try to talk to them, see how much room they have. And they will usually be pretty legit about how much room they have, especially if you seem knowledgeable. And, if they have enough room to get to where I think it's worth, we'll make a deal. And if not, we won't. But I'm not going to try to be hardball negotiator on some of this rare GA stuff, because they know it's tough to find and it will sell. And you can get a little room on it on stuff usually. But, their Tang at Superworld had what did he have? A Shocking Mystery Secret 51 raw, like an 8.0. And I think the price he had on it was like, I don't know, it was like 3,200 or something. I think it's probably like, I would have probably done like 2 to 22 on it, but I was talking to him about it and sort of feeling him out, and he had a little room on it, but it wasn't going to get near to where I thought, so I didn't even go much further on it. But then Rick has a book that I liked, and I asked him how much room on it, and I'm like, well, this is what I think I could pay for a book in that range. And he came down to where I thought was reasonable, and I bought it. So, Yeah, I mean, on the rare GA stuff, I'm not trying to, run hardball deals because it's for my PC. So I just try to get the best price I can and pay what I think it's worth. So, it's a different type of negotiating than when I'm buying stuff to flip. I will be in a different negotiating mode for stuff like that, I think.
Nice.
Another strategy is, hey, will you do this for whatever price lower, $500? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, what if I buy that and this? And they're like, and then I'm like, what if I get this, and that? Then they're like, all right, like, and figured it all out in your head.
Yeah, you deal if you bundle something.
Yeah. So the three best things I tell everybody is bundle with your buddies. You shop with three guys if you want to. If you guys get three guys, you guys agree on how much you're going to spend on a book, and you say, this is what your price range, what are you looking for, blah, blah, you get together. Three guys go in there, you each pick out a big book. You can each get a good deal on it, working it down that way, and always pay cash or PayPal, friends and family. It will always come down. And it's just an idea. If you find it, again, spend your money the way you want to spend your money. It's just some tips that we like to do.
By the time you figure that out, buddy, the books are gone.
There's always more room on. This doesn't seem to even matter about the era. Could be copper or bronze or gold or whatever. Raw books are always easy to get money off their price than slab.
Yeah.
Always. So if you've got two dealers with the same book in what you think is the same grade, one is slab and one is raw, you got a much better chance of getting the raw cheaper. This is slabs. It's more. It's tougher to get a better deal on slabs, but raw books always easier to get a deal on those, I think.
And the same.
I tend to look for raw books anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm just gonna clean and press it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm usually not a. I mean, I'll buy a slab like I just did, a big boy slab, but can't see it because it's gonna be on the hunt. But I got it because it was, again, a similar dealer that we talked about, and he knew I was gonna probably do something with a book like this eventually, so it was good. Some of the aspects Paul brought up is always good, that when you do the con, when you go get 2 or 3 books at a time, or getting a slab versus raw, when you do buy raw, he's right. You know, these guys are a billion times giving you the best advice possible. Combine all this, go out there and go get your best books possible you can at Baltimore. If or whatever kind of going to. I tend to go to my local con, which is right after, which is usually like November. I'll be at that one, and then Paul, there's one in Minnesota I might head up, which is not too far from you.
Right. I've heard that's got a lot of good gold.
That's all golden. Yeah, it's a complete golden age dream. It's just it's a lot of old school caps there. That I remember that there's a guy who deals specifically in old school timelies, but he's just, I mean, they smell, the books smell, but he's got a lot of that Marvel mystery. And then the guy we buy his comics there. Then you have this one guy in the corner who's always in the corner with his books are like, he's got like highest price ever heritage auction with a decimal point moved over prices ridiculously high. But somebody brought up something really quick that I wanted to touch on before we close out. He brought up, what's the best thing to trade? Now this is actually, we can't really answer that because it depends on what you have. What I would say right now, currently, the most profit margin I think I'm making currently on my comics is copper, late bronze, early copper keys are way more valuable than they ever have been.
Yeah, bronze.
I'm saying books that were 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a year ago are now going for $100, $200, $300, $400. And it's happening all over the place. I mean, you could look this up right now on eBay. Look up either one of these two. These were a combined $10 probably, if that, maybe a couple of years ago. This was never a key. It was always a cool cover. Nobody cared about Taskmaster unless you were.
Yeah, that looks pretty hot now.
It's hot. This is he even appears in this. This is his 180. This is his 181, obviously. Not that it'll ever be that range. But here's books that are flying right now up there. Look at but those are the Bronze Age ones, and I was going to talk about what ifs. You go right.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Down the line.
Yep.
Am I fading out?
You were roboting again.
Oh, to Mr. Bato.
If you're there multiple days,
bronze book. Look, I flip a lot of books, but I'm not a major dealer or any type of crazy seller or whatever. But I have my little operation here in my little room, and I flip books from all different eras, and I make enough money to support my habit on the golden age. So I do all right. but I'm no guru or some major dealer or anything like that. But I flip a fair number of books, and I'll tell you, bronze books, man, are right now the best to flip. I love getting bronze keys and flipping them. They're super liquid. You can find there's tons of them out there flying around in the market. You can find deals on, I got Werewolf by Night 32, Tomb of Dracula 10, Ghost Rider 1. I've had multiple Avengers 196, Thor 337s. These books are out there and they are flying around the market red hot. And you can snap them up if you can find deals on them, and you can flip them, and they're super liquid. They're all super pressable from my experience. They press so nice because they're old enough to have defects, but not so old that they're not fixable. And they're just great stuff, and they fly off the shelf, man. So yeah, bronze is where it's at, man. And late
literally, yeah. I just traded a first appearance of Elektra, or sold the first appearance of Elektra. I didn't get the highest amount, but like DS said, what did I have in it? Way less than that. I probably paid. Wasn't that much because I've had it for a little while, but again, what are you gonna?
I got two more tips. So one is if you're at a local con and you're going multiple days and you're hanging out, you'll just looking whatever, you'll hear people asking for books over and over and over and over again, and you'll start to like
go home and get them.
Like, what the heck? Yeah, it's the fifth guy who asked me for that thing. I wish I knew this or whatever, and you'll start to see like maybe there's a shortage of a certain books or whatever. So the next day you can bring those in. And then another thing, which is if you know what artists are going to be at the con, you can bring some of the best books to get signed, you think? Because
I was thinking about that.
And then you can it just Howard dealers can sell real quick. That's what they'll give you. Yeah, like they'll just.
You've got a few key guys that are going to be there at Baltimore. Obviously, sad to say no Golden Age people, but because they're all dead, pretty much. I think Alan Bellman's still alive. It's about maybe very few, right? Well, somebody asked me, when did Bill Everett die? I'm like, before I was born. Bill Everett's been dead since Nixon.
Well, he was only late 40s when he died. I mean,
died real young. Actually, I think the last thing he worked on was Submariner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He had one unpublished story that someone else finished it off.
Submariner 59. I have that one. That's a Thor cover. That was one of his last covers he ever did.
And of course, he had gotten sober and has remained sober, though, I don't know, for like 5 or 6 years before, it killed him.
But he was an alcoholic at 13 and he smoked like a chimney.
Yeah.
Poke Joe's got a great number here. I wanted to bring this up here. Poke Joe, if you don't know, everybody, Poke Joe is one of the he's going to be one of our hosts here in Baltimore. You can go see him. He'll be the concierge at the strip club as well. So that'll be fun. But one of the finer things that Poke Joe is he's a Fiction House Rangers collector, and he goes to complete his run. So he says 10% value over needed to complete your run, 20% undervalue what you need. You could sell for up to value based on what you're comfortable with, plus or minus with what you're comfortable with. See, Poke Joe knows what he's doing. I watched him and his magic and pull out. He beat me out on a certain book. I believe it was a Katie Keene. I think it was it that or the Thrilling? Oh no, it was the Exciting comic. It was Exciting comic. He beat me out on. He went over to I passed on it, put it back. I went back to pick it up an hour later. It was gone. I go back to the house later on that night. Poke Joe's got the book right there. So congratulations to him. I was like, God damn, you got. I was staring at that one. But good stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know that I have to sell or trade. I'll probably dig out a few slabs to bring with me just for the hell of it. But I think mostly what I'm bringing is stuff to get graded there, and I'll probably bring cash and try to.
I might be trading because it's too hot right now to consider it, and it's one of those that I could probably trade for a ridiculous amount that I want to do at that con. If it's there, it's the end of the day. I might be able to get the best deal possible. A guy who can move that book.
What book is it?
Avengers 48.
What is that? I'm not huge into events.
First Black Knight, Dane Whitman.
Oh, Black Knight's hot. I was just looking at like a
Yeah, I
Black
have
Knight.
the first appearance that I just sent to my presser that just has to be cleaned. Not my presser, my local presser. I went to him because Paul will be back being my presser real soon once he gets everything back.
Paul's been dead.
Paul's been dead. He's back though. It's his first appearance back. But I had to get this book back within a week anyway, and I found it in my bins, and it's a good one. So you got that one. What else? There's a few other ones.
Just as a quick aside, isn't that the coolest feeling ever when you're going through your boxes and you find something that was never hot before, and all of a sudden it's super hot, and you're like, "Holy crap, I have this!"
My best two stories. My first one is my Batman Adventures 12 side of Shadow of the Bat 50. So I had a Shadow of the Bat 50 in my bin when I was collecting the Nightfall series. I don't know if anybody remembers Nightfall. It was a great Batman run that I was really interested in. It followed the cult with Bernie Wrightson and Jim Starlin. It was a really cool run. So in this run, it goes through everything else. But at the time, it was 1991, 92, 93, 94. So I was buying all those books. And then I was buying the Batman Adventures 2 for my nephew. But I never gave them to him, and he's a little shit anyway. Not anymore. Now he's a big piece of shit. I wasn't invited to his wedding. But anyway, but neither was anybody else. So, but anyway, I go in the back of it when I go out to say, oh, people like this Cheshire Cat. I might be able to get $5 for this. And I turn it over, and my heart stopped. I thought it was like, oh, what an advertisement for the back. I'm like, wait a second, that should be a board on the back. And I'm like, holy shit. And I went back, and I had all on the back of my Shadow of the Bat where the Batman Adventures first year's worth. So that's my favorite story. Finding that that one I knew I had it's a George Tuska cover for you Golden Age fans. That's a famous George Tuska for Atlas, right, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, he also
yeah,
did,
it's on my short list.
he did some good covers, early covers for Wonder Comics. The series had Lou Fine, or I think it was Wonder Comics. No, maybe it wasn't Wonder.
Mystery
Comics? It was like a Mystery Man, or no, it was Weird Comics. He did a couple covers early in the Weird Comics run, and Lou Fine did some, and I think Joe Simon worked on that run too. But George Tuska has some killer covers in Weird Comics.
Oh,
Weird
Comics?
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. My favorite George Tuska cover is a Weird Comics cover. I'll find it while we're talking here.
Heard that they are developing Two-Face solo movie.
I heard Rom's hot.
Rom is always hot. There are some Rom's got some appearances though. He's got who's that? There's somebody who's got an early appearance in Rom.
Just Rican is here. Time to break out some mofongo.
Maybe that.
Who is it? No, there's somebody famous, like some hot comic now. Is like their second appearance is like a Rom.
The Frank Miller cover.
Yeah, Frank Miller did a lot of them.
Yeah, here's a real cool Tuska cover.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's George Tuska. Yeah.
It's got PGA. It's got some laboratory stuff. It's got Sketchy Monster.
Monster. Look at that.
And that's Weird Comics #1. So that's a George Tuska. So that's a good one.
Yep, very good.
I got my the second week of October. Whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, let's begin now. I'm going to put you on because that's what we do here. Hang on. Okay, so, second week of October.
3 years. I'm doing 3 years since there's 5 weeks in October. Start out with 1942. This is a nice painted cover. Captain Marvel. It's C.C. Beck. Kind of pulp-like looking. This is a great, I think it's a classic cover, detective cover, underwater cover.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Then we got, Jerry Robinson did that. Really nice jackpot. And I think this is a great jumbo Sheena cover. Classic Master. So it's a good month in 42, that's for sure. I'm not sure who this lady is, but seems like a standout cover to me. And oh, this is a classic Pep.
Pep 22 or no, Pep 10, right? Oh, 34.
34. That is really cool. And that's done by Bob Fujitani. Interesting. And another from MLJ, Shield Wizard. It's like Captain America, but with a Nazi shield. And then that's Irving
Novik.
Yes. Schomburg started doing some caps. He hadn't done Captain America since I think number 3, like a year ago, a year before this. Here's a elephant. Wambi. You got that one, JD? Anyone here?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm digging these books.
This is a pretty
too.
awesome MLJ cover where it shows the Japanese ready to kill
the nurses.
Yep. That's probably Irving as well. So that's 42. What would you guys grab on that one?
Well, I like the Pep obviously is the best one of that bunch by far. That's just got it's a killer hypodermic needle cover, and it's just monster cover. It's just badass.
I gotta say the Pep.
Yeah.
But I do like that other MLJ. I can't remember the Jackpot. The Jackpot's pretty cool.
The CC back cover of
MLJs, they have a really cool color strike, and I like those. And the zip too. I mean, I like the MLJs.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. I like that one.
the CC back cover was good.
I gotta say, if you had a collection of all those really nice MLJ covers, that's got to look really cool all together in a nice collection. I'd have to say.
Well,
do you have that
fine too. Those MLJs.
Do you have this, JD? Damn him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to 43. And there wasn't too much really notable. You know, I might have missed some that you guys love, but I'm sorry about that. But this is an interesting one. Air Ace. Some say it's like a concentration revolt cover, which is interesting for the time. I don't know who did that cover.
Air Ace?
Air Ace number 13.
Let me look it up.
They had Air Ace had a couple. They have one really, really well known sought after.
Yeah, I forget which number that is.
Yeah, me too.
We were talking about that book not that long ago. That Air Ace. That was number 8.
We were. Yeah.
Here's a Batman. I think didn't Comics NYC get this recently?
Yeah, he got like a 7.0 of that, and so he got a really sweet copy. Yeah, that's a really cool cover. I like that one.
First Batmobile on cover or something?
First one on the cover, yeah.
Cool.
That's cool. First Batmobile cover, yeah.
That's by Dick
Sprang.
Yep.
So that Air Ace.
This is a great Schomburg battle cap cover. Yeah, see, 43. I think it's Schomburg's timely prime. Some people disagree, but I think it was his best year. He also was doing stuff for Standard or Nador.
Yeah.
Well.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great Black Terror cover.
Pretty cool Planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one. That's been cover swiped on pulps and.
Really?
Yeah, that if you show that to DS again, he'll see it's the woman's on the weird looking animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that before. That's been redone. I think it's a Jungle or a Jumbo or something.
Does not list the artist.
And
here's a pretty cool Hitler prize.
That's prize, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I don't ever see that one around.
Yeah.
That's a super rare one there.
And this is a classic Schomburg.
Yeah, that's the
Submariner.
holding the dragon up the mouth of it. Yeah.
I
Classic.
think that one's just super expensive because it's tough to find and it's just super cool. But that's a very pricey book.
Yeah, I was gonna say of all the Submariner books, that's the one I always see that like pulls in a lot of more money than I always thought. Just because
there's like a sub like little genre or whatever of these timely Schomburgs where they're rescuing women, and I feel like the price you can always add like a couple $100 to $500 more or whatever usually to those. And then so that's 43. I don't know what you guys like the most out of that. I'd say
the prize is really rare, but
I'd go for the exciting because I'm a Black
I
Terror.
was gonna say, Paul. See the air race. I don't know who did the air race. I never have known who done the air race, but I've always been interested in it. I know there's an Irish guy who did some. I would have to go probably though. I'm going Submariner.
I think the Batman 20 and the Submariner. Those are my two favorites out of there.
I'll go Submariner in this prize.
The World War II timelies, they do nothing for me, honestly. I'm just not that guy, you know what I mean?
No worries. The prize is a good comic though.
That's why we're all together.
Yeah.
We're all the same. That would be boring.
Yeah.
Here's so now 44. This is a
Air Forces, yeah.
Air Forces.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that was not actually. I think that wasn't that done by the military?
I think you're right because there's like a Marines one I saw.
Yeah, there are two. There are two.
Yeah, it said publisher ME.
You're right.
And I feel like
Magazine Enterprises.
Yep, that's
good having you here.
I feel like this one,
the hunt along with Bub's comics because I'm taking out Bub. By the way, I'm taking out your No Faces boy.
that's title. That's probably one of the A1 books.
Yeah.
This one, another one I think that's similar to this. They used to be pretty cheap and not anymore. So I don't know. I feel like you have to jump on books sometimes, or else you never know what will happen. This is a pretty well-known Kirby Boy Commandos cover.
I mean, if you wanted to know the Boy Commandos Kirby that's what he liked a lot more than Captain America.
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite fights.
That's a really interesting one.
That's Jack Kamen right there, right?
It does not say. Yeah,
probably.
But
what number is that? 30?
36.
36. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. I mean, it could be any number of artists of that era. Could be a Zamarowicz too. I mean,
I know Jack did most of the later fights, almost all the later fights. But this was still during the war, so it could be anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to guess. That might be Zamarowicz.
What is that supposed to be? Like, is she a military or?
She's a nurse that someone messed up.
She's got a machete on her and like.
I mean, what? Yeah, she's
automatic.
It's nurse on the rampage.
Kate she's safe. I would say she's definitely not going to get captured and tied up because she doesn't have a red dress and she doesn't have blonde hair, so she's pretty safe out there.
Oh, she's gonna get shot in the face.
I mean, she might die, but she won't get captured and tortured because she doesn't have a red dress or blonde hair. So I think she's safe.
Those colors could maybe she could be French, perhaps, with those colors on the dress, perhaps. I don't know. And then we got Pep is finally in 44.
On the Archie cover,
and now it's Archie. I don't.
Is that first Archie cover?
I don't know if it's the first one, but
no. There's a Pep with him on it. There's a Pep with him on it. Before this one. What number is that?
Weird looking.
That's not. What's that?
Betty. I don't.
Well, Pep 22. What number is that?
This is 51.
51. So let me look. Where's my Archie guy? What's his name? Gretzky. Isn't he an Archie guy? Now who's the Archie?
And then the last one was.
Yeah, Gretzky knows Archie's pretty well.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of them.
Gretzky. What Archie is that one? Diggy. That's Pep, starring Archie Andrews. I know that's not the first one. That might be. It's early though.
But this is the end. You know, you're not going to find those cool hypodermic needle covers anymore. And there was a lot of funny books. Even Timely had a bunch of like 5 or 6 covers per month of the funny books. Ziggy Pig and Silly Seal.
Yeah, some of those are good. They have obscure Hitler covers too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You find them.
Well, obviously,
The Hitler cover on any of those cartoon ones, they're always worth a fair bit.
I think I'd go for this one.
I would have to say, if you want to have the Kirby trifecta, that's the one you'd want. You know,
Really cool. It reminds me of that Foxhole book he did or something like that.
yeah, I mean, that's just the cover that says it all right there. I mean, again, it's just perfect. You know, you got the rising sun flag in the middle of a war, the balls to put that out there. You know, he was something else.
So next week I'll do I think 4 years or something. I have it all figured out, but
Very cool. Well, again, we're at the 10-day countdown to Baltimore. So DS and I, we're gonna look for books for nights. What are you looking for? Are you gonna share us? Paul, I found a mummy cover book that I wanted to send you. It's pretty bizarre. It's actually a mummy cover on the front and the back. And I saw it on, I think, the CGC site. I'll have to send you.
all back on the screen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's done. All right, we're back. So, okay, and Joe, nice. Yeah, Pep. We were talking a little bit about Archie. So, well, that's this
You
week.
guys are all going to Yeah, you guys are all going, right?
Paul, are you coming?
No, I'm not going to be there.
He's not going to be there. But we'll see him at C2E2 for sure. Iowa.
I'll be there, and when I go, I don't have like a specific book I'm looking for, so I'm just going to bring some books, and I'll see what's there, and I'll make a spur of the moment purchase of a book that I'm familiar with, and it'll be there, and it's a book that's been on my radar or that I'm familiar with that I've always wanted, and when I see the right copy of one of those books, I'll buy it, and I'll just buy 1 or 2 books. I'm not planning on buying a lot.
Right. First of all, I'm flying back and flying standby, so I don't bring any luggage. So just extra underwear in the back pocket just in case. So, all right, everybody.
I may be making that Omaha show too.
Exactly. Well, that's the show for tonight. We'll do the closing outro. Again, keep an eye out for everybody. Don't forget the No Face Chat. And DS was on earlier today. If you could get a chance to watch, he was doing a live chat. I was actually going to try to chime in before somebody actually forced me to do some work today. So it happens.
Yeah, I ran on about a number of random topics. So
I like that. Which is
random stuff. Go watch my chat from earlier.
There you go. All right, guys. Paul, do you got any paintings you want to show us?
No, because I was sick for a couple of weeks, so I haven't been working on much. I've got one halfway done, but
we're gonna close out the show.
Hopefully next week I'll have some.
Nice. And next week again, we're down to the hours away from Baltimore at that point. So again, Comic Core coming at you. Thank you all for being a friend.
All right, see you all.